Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Once the new evidence came to light, Sheriff Gaylor was adamant that we needed to inform our community as soon as possible.
These were just a few words that the chief of police said at a press conference related to Rachel Morin, which went missing August 5th. However, she was found a day later, bludgeoned to death. Rachel Morin, mother of 5, often found comfort in being outdoors and working out. This was no different August 5th, around 6 p.m. when she went to the Maupaw Heritage Trail in Bel Air, Maryland. Nobody really knows what happened on that trail, but whatever it is, it was really horrible. A teenage girl found her body the next day during search efforts. The horrific scene only can be what is left to imagination.
Her death has grabbed local, state, national, and international headlines.
DNA was located at the scene of the crime.
DNA evidence is part of nearly every modern-day investigation, and in Rachel's case, DNA evidence was collected by our Forensic Services Unit. This DNA evidence has come back as a match, tied to a home invasion and an assault of a young girl in Los Angeles this past March.
This is the first time that we heard of an assailant associated with her case.
Unfortunately, that suspect has not been positively identified, but he did leave behind his DNA. In the video we obtained from the Los Angeles Police Department to be the person that murdered Rachel Morin on August 5th.
Rachel, mother of 5, died a brutal death. Can you help?
And the tip line number is 410-836-7788.
The legacy of the Murdaughs stretch very far in South Carolina. Behind these gates lie deadly secrets. Secrets only Alec Murdaugh himself know. On June 7th, 2021, Alec Murdaugh hatched a deadly secret, plotting against his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. But what brought us to this point starts with Mallory Beach. Mallory Beach was killed in a boating accident by Paul Murdaugh, Alec Murdaugh's son, and it was going to trial, and Alec was about to pony up financial records. Those financial records were going to uncover a financial scheme hatched by none other than Alec Murdaugh himself. Right before going to court over the boating accident, Alec Murdaugh's wife, Maggie, and son, Paul, were brutally executed at the dog kennels at their home in Low Country, South Carolina, the property known as Moselle. Shortly after the murder of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul, he had a foiled suicide plot at a local church nearby. Alec had a friend try to shoot him in the head region, which again failed, and he went to the hospital where it was a superficial wound, leaving everybody to believe this was a foiled suicide attempt to garner sympathy from the community. This foiled attempt was captured on camera at the local church. Alec Murdaugh received 2 life sentences for the death and murder of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. After Alec's double homicide conviction of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul, he has since set his eyes on the clerk of Colton County, Becky Hill. Becky Hill is now come under fire for putting her hands on the scales of justice in an effort to get Alec Murdaugh convicted. Alec Murdaugh's defense team state that Becky Hill put her hands on the scales of justice in an effort to get money for a book deal. Alec Murdaugh has a hearing for a motion for new trial coming up on January 29th. This hearing details how Alec Murdaugh believes Becky Hill, the clerk of Colton County, put her hands on the scales of justice in an effort to get a guilty verdict from the jury. The judge in the matter stated that she will be willing to hear from the jurors and Becky Hill only at the most recent status conference hearing. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories channel as we prepare to go to this hearing to find out whether Alec Murdaugh does indeed get a new trial.
Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. So
This is Leila Santanello. She has been missing since June 27th, 2023, and she disappeared from Kingsport, Tennessee. Chronicles of Olivia and I went out to Kingsport, Tennessee on several different trips, searching for Leila Santanello or any information leading to her whereabouts. These are my thoughts on this case.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I was hoping by now we would have found Leila. So this has been very hard. You know, we want to bring her home. We want to make sure that her family knows what happened to her, I think is really the most important. Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. Just like to speak to them just for a moment and just say, if you know something, say something, because her life does matter. For the family members of these people that know what happened to her, it could have been your daughter. It could have been your granddaughter. You need to ask them to stand up and speak up.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome
to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
My beautiful people of YouTube and our new ex. It's nice to see you all here this morning. I am back in what? Office, not two, but one, right? First is the worst, second is the best. That's what I'm going to say today. But it's nice to see you all here. We have a lot of things going on, and we're going to be talking predominantly about Michael Monkey Vaughn and Summer Wells. And here's why. We have went through a lot of cases since 2021 here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. We've collaborated with many great collaborators here on this platform to find out answers about these cases, not just to find out answers, but also to bring those answers to our public, to our audience, so they are not misinformed. We go out there, we spend thousands and thousands of dollars on cases to make sure that you guys have the most up-to-date information, even the information nobody else is telling you. And in this particular matter, we've had Harmony Montgomery, we've had Serenity McKinney, we've had the West Boys, we've had Classic and Sincere, and of course, Morin and West, that's all the same person, the West Boys, right? They went by several different names, but that was a case that many didn't believe was going to be solved. And the adoptive parents were eventually arrested and charged for those crimes and convicted, with the exception of one of the murder convictions. However, their behavior, and the reason why I'm kind of bringing the West case into this, is because the behavior of the parents are almost indicative of the behavior of the Wells. We're sitting here, talking about Stacey Wandra, all of his statements that he's come out and said, and we're kind of peeling some of the layers of the onion back to try to make sure that timelines are, because that's what we do. Timelines are accurate, that the same statements that were being made back here are being made over here, and the same statements that are being made on this particular channel creator's interview is the same interview and information we're getting from this other content creator channel interviewer. And we're starting to see some weird stuff going on. Now I can personally be honest with you and say that some of this stuff probably has innocent reasons, from the photos. There's also nefarious reasons. How are we going to determine what the intent of these people are? It's hard. Are they lying to us? It's kind of funny to me, because when it comes to Don Wells and Candace Bly, their misconceptions, their timeline issues, for some people, it just doesn't matter. They put them on this pedestal. Why? I don't know. Had it been any other case, any other family, any other person, they would have been, laughed off the streets of YouTube, because it was so blatant that the information wasn't true or accurate. So it makes me wonder, these people that still put Don Wells and Candace Bly on these pedestals are saying, hey, this Stacey Wandra story's not making up. It's Swiss cheese. Well, so is Don and Candace, but you support them. So I get a little, it's a little crazy. I don't understand it. It's just, it's funny when I hear people apply certain things to this one, but not the same standard to this one. It's a little weird for me. But that's kind of why these two cases are going to be up for discussion, is because simply these cases have not been solved yet. Nobody has been arrested in these cases. Yet other cases with similar situations. Now, remember, the West Boys to this day still have never been found. And both parents in a California court, nonetheless, are sitting behind bars for killing those children. So we know that they have a path forward. We know it's successful, even in a very liberal state like California. So why is it not being applied to, say, Tennessee? We're going to get into all of that. We're going to have a discussion. Hopefully you guys all participate, because I have questions. You may have some answers. You may not have the answers. I may have some answers. I may not have some answers, right? Good morning, The Real Me Too. It's nice to see you. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Luteens, it's nice to see you. Bullhorn Betty is present. Gigi for Life is up in the house. MJ, Skittle Crimes, it's nice to see you, love. And it's the next day. We're here on a Wednesday. It's already Thursday for Skittles. I just learned that. When they say it's 5 o'clock somewhere, it's a true statement. You know, we think it's a hippie, like a Margaritaville song from one of these old hippie, people. It's not. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere, guys. It is. It's true. It's a true statement. Maybe. It's nice to see you. Joyce, good morning. Mike Stevens is up in the house. It's nice to see you, love. Nani. Good to see you. Justice Jane here. Good morning. Good morning, Patricia Miller. It's nice to see you. Angie, good morning. Tammy, it's nice to see you here as well. Who else? Pin 1010. Good morning, love. Paralegal Liz. I'm going to see you in a few days. It's nice to see you. Kat, I need to get back to you. Sorry, I've been just barely keeping my head above water here. It's nice to see you, though. Jules, good morning. It's nice to see you and have you here in the chat. Kat in the chat is up here. Good morning. Good morning. Who else do we have? Stacy, good morning. It's nice to see you. November Rain, big hug to you. I think I got Sonia, I almost missed you this morning. Well, good morning, love. Good morning. It's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Anybody else that's late? You're late. No, I'm just joking. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I got the buttons. Oh, don't forget. The new one.
Call your doctor should you experience angina, smelly farts, eye bleeding, earwax, large boogers. Shut up.
Good morning. Happy hump day, guys. Happy hump day. Bye, you babe. It's nice to see you up in the chat. Love Stallerk. I can't say it. So good morning. I'm trying over here. Glasses aren't doing Bullhorn Betty justice. Wolf, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Cool Gamer. It's nice to have you as well. Good morning. Manic Mama T, good morning. It's nice to see you. Oh, Samantha, it's nice to have you. Good morning. If I missed any of you, I am Team Summer is up in the house. Good morning, love. Good morning, Allie. It's nice to see you. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Before we get started, I want to show you what you guys pay for. We want the truth. Right? We want the truth. Okay. Well, we're going to give you a little truth serum. Before we jump into our main topic, we're going to just show you. I was at my meeting yesterday, and I want to let you know what we talked about. Okay? Why not? Right? Why not? Everybody likes to talk crap about Bullhorn Betty and the things I do. Let's see what Bullhorn Betty does.
Kind of leave the chamber. Up next, we'll have citizen comment. We'll let everybody kind of clear the chambers for a second. Citizen comment is for items that are future agenda items. When you come forward, please state your name, county residence, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. I have one speaker on, and that's Henry. Good morning.
Hey guys, welcome, Mike. Congratulations. I haven't seen you since then. So my name's Andra, Manatee County activist. So I've got a few things I want to talk about. It's the normal stuff. My phones. I'd like the phones back on. When we all had the phones turned back on before, it was for more participation from the residents. I can say that it looks like we need more participation from the residents for the county. So I think that at this point, going into 2024 elections, that it would be appropriate to turn the phones back on, find some kind of system limiting the phones, but making them accessible to people like me that are going to be working and going to be on a campaign trail at some point, around the country. So I really like to participate in my own personal community as well. And then, of course, I noticed our drinks are not allowed into the dais anymore. So I'd like some rules on that too, because I think I'm an adult
There's my
here.
complaint.
And if I need to sign something, I'll pay for the cleaning fee. But I could bring water. I bring water. I doubt it's going to hurt the floors that much, but I'm an adult. And I'd like to have some type of capped drinking option in here, especially since we're here for hours. The main issue I have that I'd like to bring here, and it might be something you guys can all help me with, it might not be. So I've just learned that we are now having our investigators for our children, our Department of Children and Family Services, which is a near and dear cause to my heart. And I'm hearing it's going away from our sheriffs and going into the department. I don't know what I'm going to do with that here in the state of Florida, but like, no, I don't know what bureaucrat, what politician up in Florida thought this was a good idea. But we have inspectors. These people are overworked and underpaid, first and foremost. That's the first problem right there. The second problem is because of that, they're now falsifying documents. So over the last 3 months, we have Kristen Martinez. This is all from Florida. April Hawk and Trevor McKenzie, all in the department investigators with our Department of Children Family, falsifying documents and being arrested. And those are the ones that they found. So that had to have been pretty egregious for those. Who's going to be doing the checks and balances for our kids? These are our children here in the state of Florida. I hope this county, supports it being at the sheriff. The sheriff's department are our law enforcement. They are the only ones that should be investigating any type of crime in the state of Florida. That's my 2 cents. Don't spend it all at one day and one.
So there you have it. You guys get that this is a fight. This is a fight. And you see, did I used to once go up there? Everybody's like, well, I can't do that. Did I used to once go up there and talk like that? No, I didn't. You know what? I have 3 minutes to speak. Once upon a time, I sat here for hours and hours and just drafted and tested and spoke my little 3-minute speech here and timed it until I got so comfortable talking. This is 3 years, 4 years in the making. This is 3 or 4 years in the making of being up there. It never started out like this, but you know what? You get passionate items, you get things and causes that are near and dear to your heart, and you'll find out how quickly it is to open up to people and talk about those passionate things that you believe in. And I hope everybody across this country and watches this does get involved in their community. You can make a difference. I am not here for petty political politics. I'm not here for right or left issues. I'm here for issues that affect each and every one of us on a daily basis. And more importantly, trying to stop the crap that I have to cover on this channel. Do I want to be covering these types of things on this channel? Of course not. I would rather be making crafts. I would be rather doing woodworking. I would rather be doing anything else. But we have a major problem in this country, and I'm going to continue to put a spotlight on those problems until they start having meaningful resolution that we can all deal with. But don't mess with me and the children. So I don't know what I'm going to do in the state of Florida yet. I haven't made up, this has kind of all been, I'm just learning of all this. This has all been kind of dumped where they're taking our investigation. Now, there's going to be officers that go to the Department of Children and Family Services here in the state of Florida, the officers that were actually investigating these cases for the Sheriff's Department. However, at that point, they're working for the Department of Children and Family Services. I'm sorry, there is not one person, and I'm saying this for everybody, there's not one person that we have ever voted into office for the Department of Children and Family Services. Those are all appointed positions. And in addition to that, in addition to those appointed positions, we, the public, the bosses, are blocked out of this specific area, an area that we do not vote anybody into office to take care of our children. And we have no checks and balances that we, the citizens, can be involved in. It's a completely confidential situation that we, the people, don't know if they're doing the right by our children. Remember, every single child that's in the system is a dollar bill. And what happens when we have a dollar bill? There's a mess of corruption. And there you have it. So we need to be fighting for our children across this country. So those people that are on this show that are inspired and want to get involved in their community, this is the fight that we need to be involved in. The children. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. And we're seeing it firsthand every single day. All right. That is my soapbox. Thank you for giving me that opportunity to kind of show you guys a little bit about what I do behind the scenes when these cameras go off. This is it. You know, I'm heavily involved, not just here in my community, across the state of Florida and the United States of America. The place that I have the biggest, you know, opportunity to get more focus is my county. Our sheriff watches our county meetings. Our U.S. congressmen watch our local, especially the ones that are voted here locally, and our state politicians, our state Congress. They're constantly watching Manatee County. So it's a great platform to allow many people to get involved. So anyways, let's get on to the Michael Monkey Vaughn case, as well as Summer Wells. These cases, it's a little crazy because when we got into Summer Wells' case and we started working that case and came back from, I think, our second trip, we started learning about Michael Monkey Vaughn. We had Summer Wells and Michael Monkey Vaughn on some of the same thumbnails for a really long time. And then we incorporated the West Boys. We incorporated Cody Bigsby. We incorporated Harmony Montgomery. We incorporated Serenity McKinney. And then they were found. You guys remember this? Let's. I only play it like a few times a year.
Tom, it's just a tough subject. A recent study by Brown University showed that nearly 450 children are killed each year by their parents.
My daughters were picked up on a Friday by their father to spend the weekend, and that night he pumped carbon monoxide into their bedroom and slit their throats.
Justice have begun for two children killed by their mother in Pickens County.
9-year-old Hayden King was laid to rest today. Hayden's 4-year-old sister Harper will have a celebration of life service tomorrow morning.
Here's a story that's breaking at 6 o'clock. It's all centered around the three people you see on your screen. The key pieces in a Middletown murder case.
On the left is James Hutchinson. Police say the 6-year-old was killed allegedly by his own mother.
East Los Angeles mother was charged today with killing her 3 young children. The youngest was less than 2 months old.
At 6 with breaking news.
Good evening to you, friends. Greg Merriweather along with Elizabeth Vaughn. Our top story today, that precious little 2-year-old right now. 2 people are facing charges accused of murdering little Nevaeh Allen. Investigators found the 2-year-old dead in Mississippi after several days of searching.
One of those blamed in her death, the girl's mother, Lanaya Cardwell.
Our beautiful Serenity McKinney. So, you know, there is a lot of sadness, you know, when it comes to parents, especially parents that have, you know, substance abuse issues and stuff like that. It does something to them. Substance abuse, alcohol, and other substances can take a great, amazing person, somebody that you love calling mom and dad or, you know, whatever, and take that person and make them just a rotten individual. They're still the person in them is still there. It's just the person that they've become because of the substances is just not who you know. And so this causes a lot of problems because especially when they're coming down, coming off, they have children that are screaming. The kids don't understand. They don't understand what's going on. They need food, they need water, they still need their diapers changed, they need their mommy, they need their daddy, and they're not there. This is, the case for many of the kids around here. But when we come and look at Summer Wells and Michael Monkey Vaughn, there are two major polar opposites of each other. Literally polar opposites of each other. And you know what that is? The parents. The parents. These cases are polar opposite because of the parents. One child was born into a family that loved him, and the other child was born into a family that loved themselves. One child had a mother going to the ends of the earth to find him, and the other parents were talking about all the horrible things that could have happened to theirs. With a straight face, no tears. I can tell you every time I spoke to Brandy, or even, I shouldn't say spoke to her. I really only spoke to her one time, her and I. But I can tell you in that conversation, you could see the pain in her eyes every time I brought her son's name up. She had came under so much fire. I mean, to the point that I have to be honest with you. I was starting to see things when you don't have answers, and you look, and this is what the problem is with some of the web sleuths, is that if you look deep enough and hard enough, you're going to get the answer you're looking for. Period. Whether it's true or not, there's so much information on the World Wide Web, pro and against, whether they're valid or not. You've got to do the research even when you find it. So if you look hard enough, you're going to get into those rabbit holes. You're going to get into those rabbit holes. I've done it. I think anybody in this industry has done it a time or two. I mean, I haven't done it to the extent some other people have, but it is something. I'm not one of those things that die on a hill on a cause. I'm just not, unless it is. If I'm going to fight, it's going to be a fight. There's no end to it. But I know when to hold them and I know when to fold them. Okay. I don't play poker, but I got common sense. You know what I'm saying? I got common sense like many of you do. But we've seen a major difference, period. We saw a woman that was coming out. She was participating in searches. She was, coordinating people. She was getting flyers. Hell, the lady even ballsed up and met somebody that she perceived as the enemy, me, Bullhorn Betty, not because I was the enemy, but we all know that I was being heavily bullied and targeted at the time. I still am, but just at a much, things have settled down a little bit, but for the most part, she met with me. When everybody told her that I was coming there to catch her up, that I was going to be in front of this poor lady's house with a bullhorn, calling her every name in the book, not to trust me. I don't even, just the litany of nonsense that everybody peddled to this woman. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because they had this woman terrified of me. Terrified of me. You know what she did? She still met me. She still met me. She still gave me flyers. She sat down with me. She talked to me. Even in her terror of me, she sat down and spoke to me. I didn't have to go chase her around or anything. If she wanted to speak to me, she could have spoken to me. It wasn't going to stop my work. It wasn't going to stop my work, because at the end of the day, when I put my feet on those grounds, I'm there to find the truth. I'm not there with the bullhorn to cause a scene. I'm there for the truth. I don't like liars, and I don't like people that hurt children. So I wanted to put that into perspective for you, because we know that Don Wells didn't even have that kind of balls. Right? Big, rough, tough Don Wells. It took me almost 3 years to actually see him face to face. And that's only because he knew I wasn't going nowhere. It's been 3 years, right? Almost 3 years. So he finally met with me. So you're telling me that Don Wells' behavior is appropriate for a parent of a missing child? Well, this is not our first rodeo. This is not even the people that support him first rodeo. And they apply different standards to every other case they cover except Summer Wells. Why? Here is why. Because he's still talking to those channels. It's a click and a view for those channels. So are those channels really advising their audience because of their belief, or are they doing it for the interview? This is the same crap I have a problem with mainstream media, isn't it? Ah, my beautiful PJ up in the house. Wah, wah, wah. Starstruck. My beautiful PJ. Now I got backup. Guys better watch out. We got backup now. I don't just have sweet misery. I got PJ. I'm just joking. Play me. We'll go cruising the club together, baby. Okay, I'm stopping. I know there's some people in here like, please, why don't I just click the connection buttons? But I can't help it. I love my buttons. I love my buttons. And for the people that don't like me pushing my buttons,
Bro, shut up.
that's all I'm going to say. Because I am Betty. Hold on, let's try it again. Betty. All right, I'm done. Stretching the stuff. But you see, when we compare Don Wells, well, and let's just say the families, the parents of Summer Wells, and you look at the parents of Michael Monkey Vaughn, you see a totally different parent. You have, on one hand, Summer Wells' case, she disappeared June 15th, 2021. You had them run off Dr. Phil. You've had them speak about Summer Wells in the past tense from literally day one. When they had their very first interview after the disappearance of Summer Wells, Candace was so high and so out of her brain. You could literally see she was under substances on the first interview. We've watched them play games. We've watched them, use and play this weird, twisted cat and mouse game with multiple creators. We never saw that with any other, like even the Wests didn't even do that nonsense. Jacqueline and Trezell West, they didn't even play these games. They just stayed to themselves. But Don and Candace almost seemed like they were trying to disrupt as much of the justice for their daughter, whether it was the searching, whether it was help. They kept coming to the public and asking people for help, but they never really wanted the help. They ran everybody off except a few people, and most of those people that they relied on back at that time have all gone to jail or have been accused of fraud of some sort. Every person that was on top of that hill when our crew arrived, every last one of those people have been accused of defrauding people out of tens of thousands of dollars or went to jail for some type of crime related to stalking or other unsavory situations, such as harassment or whatnot. And these were the same people that told us we were all going to go to jail. Kind of funny how that happens. But now we've got Stacey Wander. Let's focus, because Summer Wells is a big deal for me. But and a lot of people think that I've left the case or something like that. No, I'm not. I haven't left the case. What more are we going to talk about? People at this point, 3 years later, I either believe the Wells have done something with their child or they don't. There's no convincing. I don't think we're going to come up. Everything that we, the public, know about this case has been presented. And the bottom line with the Summer Wells case is there was some weird behavior the day before she went missing. Why are we never looking at that? There were weird behaviors from Don Wells earlier the day, the 14th. When Dudley came to work on the 14th, a complete day before Summer Wells went missing, let's talk about that day and all the weird red flags and weird behavior that existed that day. When Dudley got to work, he goes inside the house, and Don Wells, now mind you, this is a house they do not own. This is a house that's under construction. And Don Wells is inside a tub, laying down in a very depressed, somber way. You don't have to trust Dudley, but this part of his story has never changed. And just because people are bad people doesn't mean that they're going to say a lie about this. The man's got a drug problem. Do I believe he told me straight to my face he didn't have a drug problem? I believed him. He obviously does. Did he relapse or did he lie? I don't know. But I believe him when it comes to this. These are the things that I look at. When something, when it came to Dudley, anything about him, and asking him to acknowledge some things about himself. Those things to do to a perfect stranger, especially when you're wrong, you kind of almost expect them to downplay that or not want to acknowledge it. So you almost go into the interview knowing that some of the stuff they're going to say, and this is not just for Dudley, this is for all interviews. You're going into that interview and knowing something is going to be inaccurate because it's their truth. And if you know anything about people speaking and just human interaction and human mind, there's always his side, her side, and then the truth. Remember, we're always taught there's always two sides to the story, and then there's the truth. Because one person may see it this way, and another person may see it this way. We're in true crime. We can have 10 people lined up here and have them witness the exact same crime, all in one line, watching the same exact event, and all 10 people will have 10 different variations of what they saw. So you also have to apply that in it as well, because again, I don't trust Stacey Wander. I don't trust anything he said. But when did that happen? I don't trust it because he went to jail for this crime. But could it be possible that he's telling the truth? And the answer is yes, it is possible he could be telling the truth. So what is our job? Is our job to assume that he's truthful or untruthful? No, our job is to look in a little deeper, right? To make that determination, not just off emotion, but with real hard facts. Because there's a lot of things that go on. I'm sure, like, for example, today, let me just give you an example of today. I went to the store. I've already been to the store. I got some bottles of water and got some ice from the store to put water into a cooler, right? And so I go to the front of the store and I'm like, where's your ice? And they're like, oh, it's all the way back by the ATM. So I went ahead and paid for my ice right then and there. I went ahead and paid for it. And then I drove the car around to the other side. I didn't have a receipt. I never got a receipt from them. I walked into the store, grabbed my 2 ice bags and walked out. Nobody knew. Nobody knew whether or not I was going in there and just stole 2 bags of ice. Because I guarantee the customers that were in that store when I drove the car around to the other side I guarantee that those people weren't in the store when I purchased the ice. Sorry, their past is scary enough. Yes, and that's another problem that people keep wanting to refuse to acknowledge. Is past behavior dictates in many parts future behavior. Is that 100% science? No, it's not. How do we know that? Because we've seen a lot of people that have had past problems. I'm one of them that has done the work to be this better person. And I know that there are many people in this chat that have done the exact same thing. The things that we did should not define us in our adulthood. But the problem is there was a clear stop of behavior. So even in that situation, there was a clear stop in that pattern of behavior for many of us, where we just stopped. Don Wells never had that stopping point. We look at his history. He's been in and out of jail and prisons across this country. Not in one state or another state, multiple states. We have arrests in Florida, Arkansas, isn't Utah. There might even be some in Wisconsin for all we know. Texas. He never had that stop. So yes, Tammy, that your statement for me rings absolutely true of his past. There's a lot of people that have pasts like Don did, that have children that are perfectly healthy and happy, that aren't missing. His house is on a freaking mountain, folks. A mountain. A mountain. A mountain. Not a molehill, okay? It's a mountain that has steep sides to it. Please, somebody tell me where somebody can crawl up that mountain. And I don't want to hear about these stupid dog trails. Those dog trails, if you saw them, you would know it's still steep. How are you going to be a full-grown person with a child in tow and not slip and fall and tumble? Nobody can explain that to me. It's been 3 years and I've been asking to somebody to explain that. And still everybody calls me stupid and tells me I'm lying and I'm misinforming people and da-da-da-da. But nobody can show me, because many people don't realize we attempted to climb up that mountain, okay? We fell. So somebody tell me how it's done without the driveway. We put the theory to test. People try to say we were trespassing. You're only trespassing when somebody tells you to get off their property. And I will tell you right now, as I sit today, you can ask Don Wells himself. He has never once told me, or Candace has never once told me not to come on their property, even after 3 years. I have never, ever heard them say that to me. I've been there even when I was down there just a couple weeks ago. Don could have said, hey, just want to make sure you don't come on my property. But he didn't. He was a nice guy. And he's like, did you go see Fred Hill's house? I said, no. He goes, oh, you need to go around there. I said, you don't mind? He goes, no. Nice guy. He was being nice to Bullhorn Betty that day. And we went by there, and Fred Hill's property was like gone. There was no cars. There was nothing. Remember when we drove by the last time? They had all those cars, and it was just a hot mess there. Like, it only had like a half a trailer left. Like, the whole property was just cleaned up. They must be trying to sell it or something. I don't know, but it was definitely, oh, thank you, sweetie pie. God bless you for that. I'm a little behind schedule, but thank you. If you guys received your I can't even speak this morning, Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories gifted membership, please do not forget to tell sweetie pie. Thank you. Thank you so much, sweetie pie, and God bless you. But he, when we went back, I have to be honest with you. When he was talking about Fred Hill's house, I was thinking that it was like robbed or pilfered or burnt to the ground or completely gone. There was still stuff there. Or I was also, when he was talking, went completely to the polar opposite. They must have just turned his property into a garbage can. Everybody but no, it was cleaned up. It was cleaned up, and I would never have known it. You know who told me about it? Don Wells. Told me to go up there and check it out. That's what I did. Went up there and checked it out. Well, Fred Hill's property's cleaned up, guys. So if there was anything found, his, you know, people have always said that Fred may have been responsible for it, and that it was possible that Summer was on his property. And I believe that there was even another person that likes to joke, Fred Hill, which is kind of disgusting on the heels of a 5-year-old. You know, she's about to turn 8 next month, and they were joking too. I think he took some like Kentucky Fried Chicken or something, had Ziggy come on his property, had her flip out, and it's just chicken bones. But they just did a lot of unsavory joking about a missing girl. I just never understood. I never understood that. I really didn't. But there was a lot of effed up stuff going on during this time. There really was. So that's why I really don't focus on her that much, as I've already made my determination. I'll give Don, you know, because if they didn't do it, give me a direction that can, because at the end of the day, I've done everything I can, and everything comes back to that property. Nothing shows me that anybody else was responsible for her disappearance. There were 3 adults on that property that day. I don't know if it was a combination of all 3, if it was one, if it was the other. I don't know. But I don't have to. All I know is that there was 3 adults in and around Summer Wells when she went missing, and only 3 adults in and around Summer Wells when she went missing. So, I'm sorry. Now, getting moved on, Stacey Wandra, Michael Monkey Vaughn's case. Let's bring everybody full circle with Michael Monkey Vaughn. You may know it, you may not know it. I just realized I didn't have the light on here. Maybe this will help get you. Yeah, I don't like it in my eyes. All right, let me turn that off. I actually like the light. There we go. It's out of my eyes just a little. Nah, it's out of my eyes. There we go. Some lighting's okay. I'll have to adjust the light now that I adjusted this computer today. So Michael Monkey Vaughn was a little boy that was from Fruitland, Idaho. Cute as a button. This little boy is he's so adorable. And sounds like he was just a normal 5-year-old boy, right? Rambunctious, curious, adventurous, wants to play, wants to be out, wants to play in the dirt. Just, you know, a boy in Idaho, you know, a little boy in Idaho. Their community is safe. There's never been any major crime that I can see in that community. That community is kind of separated from other communities in that area. So it's almost like a little, you know, ecosystem in itself, right? Let me just leave it like that. But when you go in there, the houses are, you know, middle-class homes, clean, nice. They have a cute little splash pad at the front of their community for the kids in the community. Clean. I even stopped in there and, you know, went inside to the restrooms. Just check the restrooms out, see how disgusting or how well kept they are, right? You can learn a lot about a restaurant, a person, or a community by checking out the restrooms. You can tell a lot. And I can tell you, if I go into a restaurant and I go into a dirty bathroom, I'm not eating at that restaurant. I don't know about you, but Bullhorn Betty's not dining there, okay? Make sure your toilets and your sinks are clean if you want my business. That literally is. If I walk into a bath, I don't care if it's you know, an old you know, I'm from Mayaca City. We had a lot of old houses with a lot of rickety old plumbing and stuff like that. I'm not talking about, you know, plumbing and I'm talking about cleanliness. Something can be old and be clean. Look at Bullhorn Betty, right? Squeak, 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 right? You can be old, but be clean. So, but he was in a community that the splash pad clean, the bathrooms clean. I spoke to a lot of people because I'm a walker and talker. So if you guys haven't been out with me in one of these communities, I always have, a hand of flyers. And as I'm posting them up on polls, if somebody's walking by me, I'm talking to them. I don't know these people. I don't care. Hi, my name's Andra. I'm out here trying to find some answers for this. Have you ever seen this boy before? Have you seen him in this community? Can you tell me what happened? What did you see? So I'm constantly always talking to people when I'm out there posting flyers. If they're walking by, they're going to be talked to by me. If a car's driving by, I'll hold it up. If they stop, I'll hand them a flyer. And while I'm handing them flyer, I'll ask them if they've ever seen this boy before, or what the last occurrence they remember seeing this boy. That's how you get the answers you need. It's not by watching the news. It's by getting out there in that community and finding out what really happened. I had an opportunity when I was out there. Actually, let me just give you guys some background information on this, because there are some new people that have never heard of Michael Monkey Vaughn before. So he really was a cute little boy that was, playing adventurous, like I said, adventurous. And he had gotten out. And this wasn't the first time he had gotten out of his house before. One of the babysitters that watched him say that, he's done this before. But again, safe community. He always comes back home. It wasn't, yes, it's concerning, but it wasn't alarming, if that makes sense, right? They're in a safe community. They in the back of their mind, they're probably thinking the same thing. Like, yeah, he got out, he got out again. We're going to have to do something about this, but thank God we live in this area. They would never have thought there. I would have never thought there. I talked to people that literally were generationals there. This one gentleman, he raised his entire family. He has lived in that one house, I think 50 or 60 years. He says out of his whole time there, he has never heard or seen anything like this happen in his community, and to be in his own backyard. He was disabled. He was, he'd been there for, he'd raised 6, I think it was 5 or 6 kids in his house. Never once had a problem, nothing. So when we were out at the splash pad, just looking and getting a lay of the land and trying to figure out if he went to the splash pad and somebody did happen to, abduct him at the splash pad, which direction could they have gone? So we went all directions. That was we didn't know where he went, where he disappeared from at that moment. So naturally, we are looking at the splash pad as ground zero. We had basically two ground zeros. We had the splash pad and we had their home. Because we can't confirm that he ever made it back to his home. The neighbor said that she watched him walk to about the mailbox, but that wasn't home. So he was in the direction toward his house. I don't see him then turning around and going back to the direction that he was just walked from. So I feel like his path would have been that Arizona and 9th. And that's exactly what law enforcement said, is that when he got back to his home, he never went back into his house. He was wanting to play. That's what he wanted to do. He didn't want to be inside. So JD Huff, on the original paperwork that I remember way back in 2021, in the middle of 2021, it basically said that they believe Michael Monkey Vaughn disappeared at 9th in Arizona. A lot of people are, looking at the path and looking at his way of walking and stuff like that, and they've got him possibly going the other direction. But I really don't believe that that's the case anymore, especially in light of Stacy's interviews, because he stopped there at Arizona and 9th. And if we believe that they may have had something to do with it, and in my mind, it's hard because I didn't connect the dots with the Wandras at all organically. With the, being out there, walking and talking, the connection wasn't made organically. The only reason why I learned of the Wandras in this case, Brandon Shurtleff, Adrian Lucen, the only reason why I learned because of Sarah Wandra's arrest. Nothing that We were out there and in the community and talking with the neighbors and knocking on the doors and asking what they think they happened, or do they think maybe somebody in their community was acting weird on that day? You know, the normal standard questions that would kind of say that would spark a response similar to like, yeah, you know, the Wanderers down the road, you know, they never leave their house, but this particular day they were extra active and we noticed some weird things. So I didn't get that organically. And so that's a concern for me, because naturally we always, you know, during our work, it usually guides us a place or not. And this one wasn't guiding us over to the Wanderers, but the Wanderers were ultimately arrested. And I now understand why. Because when we hear, say, Brandon's interview, it was a little shocking, but we had nothing to compare it to. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't hear Stacy's statement for that day. Nobody could get a hold of Adrian. I don't even know where Adrian is. Is he back in California? Is he in Ohio? Or is he in another state? I have no earthly idea where Adrian is, and I've never spoken with the man. I don't know of any interviews since Michael Monkey Vaughn disappeared where anybody has spoken to this man publicly or interviewed him or not. Maybe there are, I just don't know about. So when Brandon came out and did his interview, he didn't there was nothing really like I said, nothing to compare it to. So his statement couldn't really be corroborated. We were just listening to it. So now when Stacy came out and came to the public, we finally had something to compare Brandon's statements of the day with Stacy's statement of the day. Now we have two persons of interest in this matter. And let's face it, if they did do this crime, somebody's going to be wanting to save their own hide before somebody else's. It's just normal human behavior, right? You're going to save your own hide before somebody else's. And because Brandon and Stacy were both bopping the same chick, which happened to be Stacy's wife, there's got to be some kind of, I don't know, a level of, I don't even know the word to use, distrust between them, because they don't like each other. Because, you know, I can only imagine the jealousy that had to have ensued inside that home when you've got a woman playing two different guys on both sides of the fence. I can't imagine how everybody got along. Yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of my 2 cents. I don't know where Stacy, Sarah, Brandon, and Lucen came from, but now that I'm hearing their stories and I'm hearing the changes in the timeline, there's a lot of red flags here, and especially with Stacy Wandra's changing of the timeline. When he changed that timeline from 5:30 to almost 6:30 or 6:20, he put himself pretty much in the window. Their window, you know, has tightened from 6:40 to 7. But if he made a mistake that far off where it's pushing him to 6:20 now, and Michael Monkey Vaughn disappeared at 6:47, that was 27 minutes away. Is it possible that he's in either one, didn't realize that he was right there at the time Michael Monkey Vaughn disappeared? And how many other boys are running around in their yard? And the statement that Stacy made on Justice for Alls, where he specifically said he saw a boy in the neighbor's yard. You guys remember him saying that? I did see a boy in the neighbor's yard about 9 to 10 or something like that. Older. He made sure it was older than Michael Monkey Vaughn. But it was the statement about the boy being in the neighbor's yard. Did anybody kind of get a weird vibe from that statement? I saw a kid in the neighbor's yard. I want you to keep listening to that. I saw a kid in the neighbor's yard. I saw a kid in the neighbor's yard. Why did he assume it was the neighbor's yard the kid was in? Because, see, this is my problem. He's made a statement that he didn't know anybody. He didn't know kids in his community. So if he wasn't aware of the children in the community, why wouldn't his natural assumption be he saw a kid in his yard, in the kid's yard? Because if you don't know that child and you don't know whether or not that child, naturally, I think everybody would equate to seeing a child playing in a yard. They would automatically assume that that's the child's yard that that child is playing in. I don't know if I saw a child that I didn't know just driving down the street playing in a yard that I would automatically assume that that's a child from a neighboring house. I found that statement awfully odd for me, because he was trying so hard to explain he had nothing to do with Michael's disappearance, that he over-explained so much that he jammed himself up. And that's the problem when you have to use convincing language. For example, what is convincing language? When you're talking to somebody or questioning somebody. This is, I know we have a lot of people that do interviews in here. So what is it? It's basically when you're trying to convince somebody that what you're saying is true. So he said, this is a great example of what I'm trying to express to you. Stacy says he left his house at 1 o'clock. He had a fare and needed to leave the house at 1. That would imply that he was getting in his car and he was leaving the community to go pick up his fare. However, he couldn't explain why he was at the splash pad at 1:30, which I heard could have potentially been even 1:15. So at 1:30, it's a little more inconsistent, obviously, because if you left the house at 1, why did it take you a half an hour to go around the block to the splash pad to look for your dip? The timeline didn't make sense, but that's not the convincing language. What he said is, I had to pull in there because my dip fell on the floor and it fell to the furthest side of the car. And for many people, that would make sense, right? But it was when he took the can and stuck it to the camera to show everybody he dipped. That was the convincing language. That was the trying to convince you what he was saying was true. So that's what I'm talking about. When you talk like normal people, we don't have any reason for you to put a dip can up to the camera, but he needed to convince us that that was what happened and what led him to that parking spot in front of that splash pad. Is it true? I don't know if that's the reason why he pulled in there. I'm just saying that he contradicted himself, because I've been to that community and I know it doesn't take 15 minutes or even a half hour to go from his house and then boom, he's at that splash pad, especially when he had just said he needed to leave the house to pick up his fare at 1 p.m. So why is he at the splash pad a half an hour later, 15 minutes to a half an hour later? He should have already been long gone halfway to picking up his fare. So it is strange statements. It's strange statements. It's convincing language. It's a lot of things. And then, now we hear that he's kind of gone dark a little bit. So we'll see where this all pans out. But in all fairness, he kind of screwed a lot of things up with not being consistent in his statements from day to day. He was giving interviews on a daily basis, and his statements were changing wildly. He almost thought that many of us weren't watching the same channels or something, or weren't taking notes. I mean, I've got notes out the wazoo here. He used many qualifying words and actions to convince the listeners. He did. And those are red flags to me, because when you're giving statements of truth, you don't need convincing language behind it. But, even with me being in the true crime genre, which it's specific because I am a creator, we over explain. And I've noticed that even now, even just simple conversations, we have to set the stage, right? We can't just say, hey, I got to go do this or got to do that, or I'm working on this. You got to set the stage, right? You got to say, oh my gosh, well, you got the story, and this story's got some wild things going on, and I don't know what to believe. And then after a half an hour, you get over to the what you were really just trying to tell the person, right? I might be doing convincing language too. I don't know. It's possible. But Stacey Wandra really kind of, I think he's, this is why they say, you know, you should, when you're in a situation like this, you should keep your mouth shut. But it's hard to just keep your mouth shut when there's so much going on and you want so much of your story to get out there that's true. But, you know, sometimes you just need to let the investigation go where it's going to go and just keep your mouth shut. And that's what he didn't do. It's kind of funny because whenever you feel challenged on your reputation, on your character, on your integrity, you always want to explain that away. You always want to show that those statements are not true. I think it's almost, in a sense, a natural behavior. You don't want anybody thinking ill of you. You don't want, especially if it's a lie. And so this was such a horrible lie. I mean, this is about a kid that disappeared, that Stacey really, you know, he didn't want to be this monster. He wanted people to know he's not this monster because, let's face it, he's in Idaho. Idaho, it's a big state, but it's not that big, you know? It's a lot of rural area. A lot of people know your business. And so now he's out there trying to convince people, because he's in a new place, right? He's in a new area. He's trying to convince people that he's not this monster. And so his ego is kind of running him all over the place to try to tell a story. And then, you know, of course, somebody that's down on their luck says, oh, hey, you know, maybe I can start getting paid for this. Maybe I can start getting paid for this. And now you got a guy running around trying to get paid to tell his story about a kid that's missing in his community. How distasteful is that? That's going to get some people that are Team Michael, you know, chomping at your butt. I can tell you that. I found it highly offensive personally. But if people do, you know, do what you do. It's just a thing. I don't understand why he would have been wanting to get paid for a missing child, to tell his story about a missing child. He should want to do that and clear his name free of charge, but he didn't. He wanted money. Now, from my understanding, I don't think anybody gave him any money. I think this is something that somebody put in his ear after he was starting to get attention. Oh, well, you can get paid for this. So, but it's just the thought that he actually concocted this idea to now, instead of being out here to try to clear his name, he went for a money grab. A money grab. How despicable is that? How immoral. I mean, absolutely immoral. You are literally a person of interest in the disappearance of a little boy, and you want to get paid to tell your damn story to clear your name? Have you lost your ever-loving mind? Like, what? I'm sorry. Stacey, that was just, I don't know what to say, but I think that was a little too overboard for me, for my cup of tea. I gotta say. So I'm curious about other people, how you feel about this process. I'm gonna keep this stuff open. I'm gonna put Google Voice on, so if anybody does want to call in, you're more than welcome to. Let me get it up and running first. But I'd like to know how you feel about this. You know, does this upset you? I mean, it kind of upsets me. I'm trying to play the devil advocate, right? Everybody says I'm too mean. Okay, I'm too mean, right? I love this stuff. I need to put this on my keychain. Psalms 1387. Why am I picking this up and seeing Psalms 1387? Psalms 1387. Let's find out before we turn the phones on. Let's see what this one says. Let's read this. Let's read it for everybody. I need to see it. There's a reason why this is jangling in my ear. So God's telling me, stop what I'm doing and go pull this up and read it. I don't know why he wants me to, but apparently I or somebody else in this chat needs to hear it. It says, when I am surrounded by troubles, you keep me safe. You oppose my angry enemies and you save me by your power. You will do everything you have promised, Lord. Your love is eternal. Complete the work that you need or that you have begun. That is Psalms. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Apparently, we needed to hear that. We needed to hear that. So, what do you guys think about either one? Michael's case, Summer's case. Am I being too harsh on Don Wells? Am I being too harsh on Don Wells and too easy on Stacey Wondroth? Am I? I'm human. I make mistakes, right? I can evaluate stuff wrong. So I'm going to leave these phones open up just a little bit. The number here for anybody that would like to call in is 724-249-6140. We're not going to be able to keep it up long. I have an appointment here in about another 30 minutes. You guys got me for about another 30 minutes, and then I've got to go. But I want to know, we have some issues here. We have Michael Monkey Vaughn and his parents, which we talked about a couple different topics with both cases. So the first topic that we are discussing when it comes to Michael Monkey Vaughn and the Summer Wells case is the parents' behavior. The parents' behavior in both of these cases are polar opposites. We, in one case, have a police chief that stood next to his grieving parents. We have the parents that went out there and searched, met with people that terrified them to give their interview just to get their son's name out there. They just wanted help, whoever could help. Here's flyers, go do your thing. And then you got the other side that wants to drink, play games, not go out and search, not even buy a flyer, not even post a flyer, but wants you to give them as much money and super chats and Venmo payments and Cash App payments and PayPal payments that you can possibly muster up. Don't even want to pay their child support for the other 3 kids that they've got. And refuses to meet with anybody that they have requested help from. And again, takes you on a tour of games. So we talk about the differences between parents and their behaviors after their children had left. Now we're talking about the fact that both of them are almost 3 years old and neither one of them have had an arrest in either of the cases. We have one police chief that's out there telling us, not telling us a whole lot, but every now and then feeding us that they're still working on the case and they are getting close. And then you got the polar opposite with a corrupt Hawkins County Sheriff's Department that likes to have his own son that's a kitty diddler only get a slap on the wrist in a community that's missing a 5-year-old child. And her case is going cold. None of the law enforcement in that state is keeping us up, even with a scintilla of, we're still working on it. Nothing. I'm sure I have a funny feeling. Summer Wells is not going to get justice for years. Years. I think we're in it for the long haul when it comes to Summer Wells. And it's sad. It's sad because, Summer Wells was one of the first children that I covered as a true crime content creator. And it's hard to see so many other cases of children in the similar situation being resolved and the people responsible already prosecuted and sentenced. Meanwhile, we're still looking for answers in Summer Wells and looking for justice. The parents have no benefit by pushing this forward to have their daughter legally declared deceased. If they really wanted answers to their daughter's disappearance and death, then they should be pushing that. Because once it is determined by the courts that she's gone, then a murder investigation, a death investigation can start. This investigation is still at a missing person or maybe elevated to a criminal investigation at this point because of her age. But it is not a death investigation. We need it to be a death investigation. We need Hawkins County or somebody in this matter to rule this child deceased so she can get justice. I guarantee you walk into that sheriff's office and you talk to them off the record, they will tell you, every last one of them, that they believe she is gone. Not disappeared, gone. So why can't we get that elevated so we can have the death investigation? Oh, hold on. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to have to, I just kicked you off by accident. So you're going to have to bear with me. Let me see if I can get to another place. You're going to have to bear with me just a little bit so I can get you back on. Sorry, who's this and where are you calling from? I can ask you that for a second. I'm waiting. Oh, Tammy, you know what? I'm about to put you back up on the screen. It's going to show your number. Can you call me literally right back so I can add to the screen without showing you? Literally call me right back. All right, hon. All right, let me get this up here. Let me get this back. There we go. Okay, she's out. Sorry, I hit it too many times, and hopefully she calls me literally right back because I'm ready for her now. But I didn't want to dox her by accident. Thank you. All right, Tammy. I'm so sorry about that. I just didn't want to dox your number. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
there
yeah,
you
I'm
are.
here.
Hey, honey. How are you doing today?
I'm breathing, living, and I love that Psalms. No, at this point, you're using common sense.
Yeah.
And as long as this goes on, it's definitely common sense. We see so many cases. Between Don Wells and Monkey, it's just common sense at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You're not being too hard. You've never been too hard.
Well, I'm glad because people think I'm too hard on Don, but it's like, I can't help it. When I know, I know. I mean, how am I supposed to unknow the information I know?
And plus, look here, this is what I've learned. Okay, when you're doing good, that's when all these people come after you.
Mm-hmm.
And look at other people coming. You must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Remember Jesus. He walked without sin. He said his enemies become your enemies. So you must be really doing something right. Because they sure do come after you.
Because I tell you what, I just want justice for both of these babies. It's just so hard because, when I met with Brandy, one of the questions, it's so hard for me to even say it, but one of the questions that I asked her was, do you think, and it's sad to say, but parents know, do you feel he's still here with you? One of the worst questions, it's almost a heartless question to ask a parent, but you need to capture that. And she said yes, and this all just breaks my heart. She was just so hopeful, and even hearing all of this about Stacy and Sarah, like we're still hopeful that this is all just a joke, that somebody wanted to take care of him and wanted a child, and that he's going to be okay and he's going to be brought home.
When I watched that interview, I grew up in St. Louis. The first thing you do is you watch people's body language.
Mm-hmm.
I taught my children, don't worry about what's coming out of somebody's mouth. Watch their body language and tell you more. When I watched him and his eyes rolling, especially the eyes,
mm-hmm.
the blinking, the turning, the looking up, and everything but looking at that camera and sitting up.
Yeah.
Sitting up. That whole interview was like, his body language, like, you could just hang that one up.
Yeah.
Because what's coming out of your mouth is not what your body's saying. It was just. If you ever went into a police station, how much do you think they would go? One that really works, or a police station that really works. Because I'm sorry, y'all, all police stations ain't good. But and look, I got law enforcement in my family. We believe in those.
Mm-hmm.
The oath takers. But some of them, But yeah, if you ever went to an interview, that's the first thing they watch is your body language.
Yeah.
He would yell so much, it wouldn't even be funny.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Tammy, thank you for your 2 cents. I appreciate it. It's nice to see you, love. It's nice to hear you.
Yeah, you have a blessed day. I did want to ask you one quick
Absolutely,
thing. There's something very much that is on your heart, and that's the DSS and the children, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard, and this is what's going on here, I've never heard it before. Okay, in the schools, they have gang members that bully other children.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of the gang members getting in trouble, the children are getting bullied. But then you have DSS go to good parents' home and say, because these children are acting up because they're being bullied and everything, right? Go to good parents' home and say, hey, look, you're having trouble with your children. Give us custody of your children. Then they put them in group homes where a child's not getting love, care, just like a normal child would, somebody to go talk to. And then they lock the food cabinets up and lock the water off.
What
What
state do
they
you live in?
paraded here? Oh, no. I don't. I'm with him, my daughter. I'm really a.
No, I don't want to know where you live. I just want to know
resident.
what state you live in. What state?
What state am I in? I'm North Carolina.
Okay, so
Regional
North
Rockingham
Carolina,
County.
I would be filing, if I was the parents of these kids that aren't doing and getting bullied, I would be up at law enforcement's office every day.
See, that's the problem. That is the problem. People believe what they want. That's been here 4 years ago. My 36-year-old daughter bought a house here that's paid for 4 years ago. That is the problem. We're talking about gangs, and they have put people in positions in our police station, DSS. You would not believe what.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You need to create the paper trail. So it doesn't matter whether
that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah, you need to file those complaints. It's not that it's going to help you immediately. This is, it's just that you need to create that paper trail and keep adding to it. So if the kids aren't doing anything wrong I have a problem with DCS asking any family to sign over kids to their troubled kids. No, you give them resources to manage troubled kids. You don't take them out of their home, especially if they're good.
Yeah, but these are children that are being bullied in school by gang members.
Yeah.
But the gang members they don't get in trouble, and they get out and they got the jobs. Then they get up and go to school.
Well, then it's time for some parents to get to those school boards and start raising up. Nothing happens.
Okay,
hold on. I can tell you nothing happens in these school districts until the parents start showing up. Until you start showing up.
That's the problem here. This is where I really need Sandra. And don't worry, Sandra. I'll pay for it because God provides. What they have done is fear people here. People have been so fearful. But because I've been such a loud voice here,
yeah,
I'll do like Papa Beer. There's no newspaper or news station here neither.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been like Papa Beer here, and people are ready for a protest. It's going to take a protest, and us get loud here.
Yeah, and then
that's
really what you need to do if they're not listening, because I'm going to tell you, there's nothing one singular person can do to change the system. It's one voice. But when you raise that one voice, others come to help. And so whenever you're doing a situation, especially with the schools, it's a very, it's tough when it comes to the schools and the school boards, and there's nothing that
it's not just the schools. Yes, it's not just the school. It's where that reason it comes.
It is the schools.
Oh, no, school's a problem. That's where it started, is what I found out. But this leads all the way up to a police station, all the way to courthouse, probation. It is just
then it takes
mind blowing.
If it is that corrupt, if it's that deep, You need people.
Yeah.
One person, I could never come there and just fix a problem. I mean, it literally.
No, you get. That's why I called you to get
Yeah,
from here.
you got to
That's
get the
why.
whole. You got to start small groups, and you got to start talking about these issues with the school board, and you got to start.
Oh yeah, I've been all over. They know me all over the city. They call me Crazy Lake Noah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Those
I
are my
must be stepping on some. Okay, I must be stepping on some toes because I've been arrested one time by here in North Carolina. A citizen could go to magistrate and take some criminal summons on you. So I haven't been charged by the police for no crime, but I went to court. I've had 2 court dates. I got another court date. I've had my other court dates. By citizens going, I must be stepping on some toes.
Yeah.
And then the hits that have been on it. So I must be stepping on some toes. But that's okay because God did not give me a spirit of fear, but a sound mind.
There you
so
go.
I will still keep on doing what I'm doing.
Well, Tammy, I love you. I mean, I'd love to
Thanks for
help, but I don't. If it's that deep,
no, but there's nothing you can do right now.
There's nothing you can do until you build up the community. The community has to come.
Oh
together.
yeah, I got people who are ready for the president. They go, when is it going to be? I'm like, when you see the flag.
Set up a date and time, 4 to 6 weeks out, and then that gives you plenty of time to advertise, get to your groups, let people know that this is going on, get to your meetings, everything. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to need Sandra. Would you help make the flyers and T-shirts and stuff? Don't worry, Sandra. I'll pay for this because God will provide. But yeah, I'm gonna have to meet up with Sandra because she's good at making those flyers and T-shirts and stuff.
But get with a local, find a local group in your, quick search or something, or just ask maybe a politician that what groups are, this is their like bread and butter. This is their bread and butter cause, and start reaching out to them, and they'll help build that audience and that group for you guys to.
Well, this goes way high up in our state.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. There's a way.
And then there's yeah. Don't worry. We got it. We got it. We got it. I'm not saying a lot more on here, but we got it.
Mm-hmm.
We got it. At least people see, hey, you don't have to fear.
Right.
Because there's people they don't want to live like this, especially when you got a lot of dead body counts.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know because there ain't no newspaper or news station here. That's why I'm like Bob Revere here.
Gotcha. Well, reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, and maybe you can give me more precise, like community information, and I can look for some resources for you.
Okay, thank you. Everybody have a blessed day. Remember, we have a blessed day.
You too, Tammy. God
Everything's
bless.
Everything's gonna go good.
Uh-huh.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you.
Uh-huh, bye-bye. Okay, so I'm just going to switch gears just real quick because I did find this, and this is the interview with one of Don Wells' first interviews. I think it is. Hold on, let's see if it's got the actual interview inside of it. Might not. Hold on, let me just keep going. I remember the first interview. Let me see if I can find it on a video, some type of video. Father speaks after 2 years. This was 7 months ago. No, there was that very first interview. I know Justice has it on his. Let me see if I can find it on his. Hold on a second. Give me just a second. I gotta change. Good Lord. I don't want to listen to, I got to change this over to my main account. Give me just a second so we don't have to do what you doodles. There we go. Let's see. I know he's got to have the interview on here somewhere. Hold on. I don't see the interview on here either. He's talking about it, but I don't see the actual interview. Unless it's this one. Let's see if it's this. Where's the interview? June 18th. Hold on. Let me write that down. June 18th. Does anybody have it? I know I used to have it. June 18th, 2021. Don Wells interview. Here it is. Oh, this is the officer's update. Hold on a second. I got it. June 18th. Here it is.
She says, "Where's Summer?"
All right.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
This morning, Donald Wells spoke on camera for the first time since his daughter disappeared.
Please let Summer be okay. And please come home.
He says it's unlikely Summer would leave the house on her own. Wells says the last time anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells also spoke about his gut feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Wells says law enforcement have covered leads on area sex
I want the whole
offenders and-
interview, and I don't like these clipped interviews. I want the whole damn interview, and I can't seem to find the interview that he actually gave. And I know he gave one to News Nation as well. But I want that original interview where they were standing outside of their house and they were with, and Candace was just, let me just change my tools. You guys know which one I'm talking? Let me get over here to the chat. You guys know, oh, sorry. You guys know which one I'm talking about? The interview where they're in the chair and can't just, you know, well, she not like that. That's one of the photos, but she wasn't herself in this particular interview. And they had it with, I want to say WJHL. Let me see WJHL. I bet you they have them all over here. WJHL Summer Wells. Here we go. We got all the content here. Let me see. "11 months ago." Where's the rest of them? A year ago, Shamor. 2 years ago, Shamor. We're getting closer. Here, I think this is it. 2 years ago. Let me see if there's more. Hold on a second. There are more. Wow, they did a lot. Here it is. Found it. Now, if they have the video on it, give me just a second. I think I did find it. So this is the one. This is when they were out front of the house, I think. And this is the one where they're not cooperating. Oh, this is not it either. Hold on. That's further down. That was from March. We need the one from the 18th. We need the one from the 18th. And that's not it. Oh, well, we'll play that one for right now until I look for the other one. And this is from Ronnie Lawson himself. Sorry, everything's getting jammed up here. I've got it. It's just running slow.
He died as he lived. A total sucker.
I'm not listening to that shit. Excuse my language. I'm just not.
Don Wells has been in jail for a few. Nothing came up of conversations with him in the jail that led you guys back out here?
No, absolutely not. He's not even been talked to about the case.
He hadn't been talked to. They didn't even. They just get clips. Okay, so it looks like we're not going to ever be able to see that. I don't know if WJHL just took it completely off or if they just only like the clips now. But we had full videos. Let me see. WJHL. Let me go to YouTube. Does anybody have these links at all? Maybe on their URL sheet by chance? I sent it to you. How did you send it to me? How did you send it to me? Okay, before that's it. Yep. Hold on a second. Let me see. Thank you. She's got it. We got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She knew which one I was looking for. Okay. Give me just a second. My system. Jesus. Okay, give me just a second. I'm sorry. My computer's giving me a little bit of a hiccup here. I don't know what's going on with it. It's driving me nuts. Oh, give it a second. It's just taking forever.
I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And
pay attention to her eyes and her eye blinking. She is on substances. And she's talking about them planting flowers. The flowers were not flowers. They were cactuses. Okay? A 5-year-old planting cactuses. They were cactuses, folks. I don't know of any parent that allows a 5-year-old to, plant cactuses of all things. It's just weird. And then call them flowers.
Went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back.
Within 2 minutes. Now, guys, I want to make sure you understand that they are on a mountain. Okay, it takes a little more. She's saying they just got home. She planted this. She planted that. She went into the house. They're on a mountain.
And I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom.
No toys.
I said, okay.
Little toys.
And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone. I don't go on walks around here or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes and even the coyotes that are around here. Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound.
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up. I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of elusive.
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come.
First of all, they're talking about the red truck. The red truck that was seen or allegedly seen. Listen, absolutely none. None whatsoever. No emotion. Very matter of fact, just doesn't seem normal to me. And a lot of people at this time try to say that it's because they don't show emotion. Well, we've seen Candace show emotion many times over herself, just not her daughter. We've seen her get up crying and screaming and going off of Dr. Phil. We heard her crying and staying on the phone with some content creator. And that's if that's true, because that same content creator is known to have just conned people out of thousands of dollars, her and her husband. So is that even true? Was she crying with her on the phone for hours on end? And why were those emotions never shown? When we talk about some of the worst possibilities that could go, even when her own husband, Don Wells, talks about where their daughter could potentially be. He does it with a straight face, no emotion. It's weird. Odd.
Forward and explain themselves. I mean, if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
But she couldn't do that. She couldn't do that. Remember that. Just come forward and say what you've seen. That's exactly what we said, but you went on Dr. Phil and got up and ran and refused to tell us what you seen. So why don't you take your own advice? Just saying.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
We call that a liar because she loved beautiful girls. She loved Miss Robin. She gravitated to every single female that was not her mother. Trust me, she wasn't trying to be like you. What you guys did with those shaved heads, and we know why they did it. Most likely those kids all had lice. And they're too cheap to go get lice treatment, so they shaved their heads.
She tried to shave her head in the back and make it, I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad, and but it didn't bother her at this point. Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. You know, I knew that right away, and that's what I told him.
Too bad you guys aren't big enough to make a difference. Petty, petty, petty. Enjoy yourselves and enjoy your miserable life.
From the beginning, but they have to go through their, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess, but I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, and I feel for them. But I just wish there was a way.
But never once went out there to help, even after they left. Still never went out there searching. Still never went out there. I have not seen Don Wells or Candace post one flyer for their child.
That neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then if they're not willing, get a search warrant or something. But there's just no way you can search every single house, in the eastern United States or whatever. But I wish there was a way. Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that, out of love, trying to get information and trying to get her found. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
That means a lot.
And we thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying.
No, thanking. They're thanking everybody. Thanking everybody for looking for their child when they won't.
So hard, and she's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back. But, there's always going to be haters, and it's always going to be that way in this world, and we just want to focus on the good friends and Christian people that are trying to help us and praying for us and praying for Summer. And we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. And that's the kind of people we try to relate with and socialize with.
But yet you're on social media with all the biggest dirt bags that could possibly be in the drama community. So can you explain that to me? Because those aren't good, wholesome people that you're hanging out with and associating with. And as a matter of fact, I don't even know if this man even goes online anymore and even talks about his daughter. The last time I heard, he's talking about all the other children missing in America, North Korea, and every other place, but hasn't yet been able to talk about too much about his daughter. No signs, no shirts, no nothing. Like his whole house right now should be a shrine to bring attention to Summer Wells' case. It's not. I don't even think they even have her toys at this house anymore. I don't know. But from my understanding, they got rid of everything. I could be wrong. That's just what I was told.
So we don't know anything about, no red truck, or we hardly know many of our neighbors. I mean, because we just try to be around good people. I mean, and we do have good people in this area. We found out since this has all happened. We got some real good neighbors and good folks everywhere. But
the most important thing is to bring Summer home safe. I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have.
Mm-hmm. Everything you
We've
have?
never went without.
Can't even pay your freaking child support, but you've got for the last, how long have they been gone now? Over 2 years? And everybody else here on social media is responsible for paying your child support? Okay. But you'll do everything you can. They want for nothing, right? Except the parents that you guys will not give back to them because you guys refuse to do the work necessary to get your children back, right?
Well, thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could.
Even the day after, let's not forget it. Yeah, he works as much as he could. Do you guys know he went the day after his daughter was missing? He went to work. Such a concerned father, huh? Majorly concerned father. Thanks so much for his missing daughter that he doesn't feel like dealing with law enforcement. He's got to go to work.
It still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as
you treated her like that, lady.
Ever.
You treated her like that.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl."
I thought she was a tomboy. I thought she didn't like dresses and twirling and long hair and stuff. I thought she was a tomboy.
And she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired, you know. I put out there that one of Summer's favorite songs was Godzilla, and they say, and they're jumping all over me about past tense was, well, I'm sorry about that. It's just.
She also liked the song by New Breed. It was called
And you know what's like they know that they're referring to her in past tense. Instead of correcting that, they still, from this day forward, even her comment right after he said that. Well, she liked. This is not people. I don't know. They've already in their mind believe she's gone. Otherwise, they wouldn't be using past tense. It wouldn't be part of their vocabulary. In their mind, their child's already gone. That's what it tells us.
House. My House. She sung that a lot of times when I play it on the TV. She loved to dance.
She liked to think of herself as a princess. And,
princess. Princess with a shaved head. Oh, I thought she was a tomboy. Okay.
And all that, like all young girls do. And
she loved Frozen. She loved to be that Elsa and
all long hairs. Long, beautiful, flowing hair.
And I think she really loved to be in church because she felt a lot of love there. And I think you can't explain what that love is, but you feel it and you know it, when you're young. And she felt that there, and she loved everybody in that church, or she loves everybody in that church. I should rephrase that because they'll tear that apart as past tense, and I apologize again for that. I hope she gets to come home, and I hope she gets to be with our church family again.
Our best friend in that church was Robin. She loved her to death.
Yeah, she looked up to women that were.
She come to that church, she went looking for Robin. That was her favorite person.
Any woman that was professional, that
was pretty, beautiful.
Oh, you mean exactly the opposite of tomboy. I thought you were trying to convince the world that she's a tomboy. This is not indicative of a child that really wants her head shaved. I'm just saying.
She looked up to those kind of women. She, they were, the word I'm looking for, I can't think of it, but she looked up to them. She'd give them a run for their money every day. She'd give them a run for their money. And there was times, we'd be, at our boys, like, don't do this and don't do that. And next thing you know, the stick would come up and just whop them, and it'd be like, Summer, don't do that.
Summer was the boss of the family.
She typical girl.
When they get out of line, she'd put them in line.
She'd do her best.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
When I run the lawnmower.
Who believes she enjoyed that stuff because that's all the stuff she had to enjoy? Has anybody ever thought about that? That she enjoyed that stuff because that's all that was there to enjoy. Dirt. Junk. Nothing. I don't know if it's because she was a tomboy. I just don't think she had anything else. Because she sure seems like every other normal girl child that I've ever known. Loves long hair, pretty dresses, twirling.
Around, she would run behind me when the boys run their bikes around. She, as fast as that little bike could go, she would be behind them running and keeping up with them, no problem. You know, she loved to run. She just loved to run, and she could pull herself up on that swing, her full body.
I just heard that must have been the boys. They must have still had the boys then. I just heard the kids in the background.
Weight with her two hands, and she could do that. None of the other boys can do that, but she can.
Was she in school yet?
No, she's going this year.
This was supposed to be her first year.
Lots of firsts for baby Summer Wells this year. Going back to the very first interaction that we know about with Dudley, it comes back to the 14th. Again, the reason why I'm saying all of this is very simple. Summer Wells her parents were hopped up on a lot of substances, from alcohol to, pot to other stronger substances. We've heard the calls to law enforcement, her talking about the C-Man. We heard from Jody Sue talking about the METH stuff. We know that these people were on a lot of substances. They had a revolving door in their home with their young children, but only one of them was a small female young child. And you've got this weird behavior from Don, knowing that the Department of Children and Family Services were coming that night to check on their home. And he was slumped over in a tub, very, very depressed, the morning before that happened. By the afternoon of that day, the 14th, Dudley was completely fired from the job without cause, for no reason. Don owed him money. He had worked all weekend when Don didn't, or something to that effect, and he shouldn't have had any problems. But he goes into work that Monday, and Don Wells, after him seeing him in the tub and whatnot, ends up firing him. That night, they go home about around 6:30, 7 o'clock. The Department of Children and Family Services show up to the house. 2 people are there. There was a supervisor and maybe potentially an investigator, but there was 2 individuals. One was a man and one was a female. And as they were leaving, according to Don, they were supposed to be closing the records. The thing was over. Apparently this particular situation, somebody called in saying that his boys were using real GUNs, right? Guns. I don't know if I can say that on here. I don't know why I'm being so apprehensive on here today. I don't know why. But I'm just going to speak. So they were shooting real guns. Well, Don is a felon. He's not supposed to have guns. And the kids apparently were BB guns. I don't know if that's true. I'd have to say that's probably that they were probably shooting real guns, because we heard that when we were talking to Allie, rest in peace, Allie, and that whole crew in front of Allie's house. They talked about that event, remember? So I do believe that they did have real guns, but it wasn't until they were leaving, according to Don, when they were leaving, Summer was on the side of the house, and the supervisor, which was the female, ended up going over there and speaking to Summer. He said it was just, a very short moment, and she was probably just saying hi or whatnot. I don't know. She went over there and spoke to Summer Wells. And then after that, they left. Don just assumed that, according to Don, that they were going to close the case out and everything was going to be just fine. That's what he was expecting. That's what he told me. And then the very next day, almost to the minute of when DCS was there, around 6:30, is when the call came in that Summer Wells was disappeared. This is right after a DCS visit. This was right before they even got the report back. And this was before she started kindergarten for the first time. She was going to be starting kindergarten in a few months. When I originally got into this case, and even up to probably the first 2 years of this case, I had believed in my heart and soul that something happened to Summer that was an accident. Since that happened, there's been stuff that I've learned that have changed my position on that a lot, where I now believe more nefarious means were involved for more nefarious purposes. Okay. Sorry about that. We had to we're running now on my cell phone. So it didn't freeze. I had a power surge and my equipment I had a flicker in the lights. So my actual internet is not up and running. We're running off my cell phone. I got to wait until the internet's back up and running. Hold on a second. It'll be back up in about 2 more minutes. Once it's back up, I'll switch back over to the right internet so we're not having any kind of issues. But as you see with Dawn and Candace, why is this stuff popping back on? Having some internet issues. This sucks. Let me see if I'm back up. I'm going to try. Give me about another... see what time it is. Oh, it's time for me to go anyways. So it is 8:30. I need to let you guys go. My day is about to start. I've got some people here that are going to be coming here to help with the backyard. So we're going to pick this up a little later this afternoon. We're going to start. I'm keeping everything right where it's at. And later this afternoon, we will go with part 2 of this about Summer Wells and Michael Vaughn. But I really want you guys to understand the behaviors of both sets of parents, where you got Michael Monkey Vaughn, where her child, Michael was abducted, truly abducted, and something happened to him. And then you've got these parents called the Wells and the Blyes, Candace Bly, Dawn Wells. I don't know if they've ever been married. I don't know if that's ever been resolved. We still call her Candace Bly because that's what we know her. Every single report that had came in the years, 2 or so short years before Summer was born, all say that she was Bly. Even up to the last arrest of Dawn Wells, she identified herself as Candace Bly. So even if they are lawfully, legally married, I don't think she lawfully, legally changed her last name. I think that's why she still uses Bly. But I don't know if they're married or not married. I think somebody did 2 years ago bring up a marriage license. But I don't know if that was a filed marriage license, if that makes sense. I don't remember. It's to be honest with you, it's a petty issue on the grand scheme of things. What does it matter whether they're married or not married? In my opinion, it has nothing to do with whether they are responsible or know anything about their daughter's disappearance, or whether it's going to find Summer Wells. I don't think them being married or not being married has anything to do with any facts of this case. So I don't worry about the petty stuff, whether they're right or wrong, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. So are they married? Are they not married? I don't know. Anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to this. We're going to be going down this realm because I do realize there's a lot of new people that are a part of the Summer Wells case that are learning about this case because it has gone on for so long.
But I also want people to be right on the information. And I know that there are some dangerous channels out here that do nothing but peddle misinformation specifically about this case. And it is my opinion that they're doing it specifically to thwart the investigation of this case. Again, my opinion, but I do believe it because we see it. If you applied this standard to Stacey Wondra and you got people saying that Stacey Wondra is a liar, but these people are not a liar, I'm sorry. You know, it is what it is. It's a hypocritical statement. You can't say because one person's lying that they're responsible, but these people can lie for 3 years and they're not responsible. They're great parents, but yet they've had 7 children taken out of their custody, and one of their children is completely missing and hasn't been seen for 3 years or almost 3 years. So I'm tired of the hypocrisy on here. You know, I'm a very fair person. I've treated Don very fairly. I've given him every opportunity to change my mind, to convince me otherwise. I even sat down and talked to him and was very courteous with him the last time I was in Tennessee just to garner some information so I can help him clear his name. Do you think I want to say Don and Candace and Grandis know what happened to Summer? No, of course not. I would love nothing more than to know that at this point that it was somebody else. Actually, I welcome that information. But the problem is you can't make something up. Just because you want it so bad to be true doesn't make it so. And that's where we are today. Just because we want them not to have anything to do with it doesn't make it so. Follow the evidence. If you just stick to the evidence and not your emotions, you will see a crystal clear picture. I really do beg and plead that justice comes for Michael Monkey Vaughn as well as Summer Wells. But I just want to make sure you all know we have a hell of a fight with Summer Wells. I have a funny feeling that, you know, Michael Monkey Vaughn, like I said, I like JD Huff. And I got a good vibe from him. I'm a vibe person. I'm not a vibe person through the internet. Okay, I can't vibe through the internet. But in person to person, belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball, I'm a vibe person. I trust when I'm in an area or meeting somebody, I trust my internals. They haven't failed me yet. I trust my internals. So when I'm eyeball to eyeball with somebody, I feel, I vibe. And I can tell you my vibe with JD Huff was excellent. I like that man. Do I like the fact that he keeps things away from the public? Of course not, right? But am I really out for the news, or am I out for the avocation and the justice? At the end of the day, when push comes to shove, we're here for the justice, not the content. So while I'm upset that JD kept some stuff from us, I'm very happy he did so, and I'm happy he was able to get an investigation, and I'm happy he's able to find people that us could not. All right, guys, I love you. God bless. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be kind. Please be safe and kind to one another, especially in the comment box below. Here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, we say no to cyber stalking, cyber harassment, and cyber bullying. We say no. Do your part and stop. God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.